Welcome to Let's Chat. I'm your host, Valerie Costa, and I would like to thank our sponsor, River Valley Community Bank, for making this show possible. Today, I'm chatting with Lynn Forbes, the co-president of the League of Women Voters of Nevada County. Welcome, Lynn.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
It is wonderful to have you. So, tell me about what the League of Women Voters does. Who are you?
The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan grassroots organization here in Nevada County. This chapter was formed, interestingly enough, in the late 80s by 3 women who moved here from other parts of the state, missed being a part of the League. They contacted the state league where they were put in touch with each other. They met for lunch and a chapter was born. I mean, it took a couple years for it to be a formal chapter and so on. They advertised in, I believe, the union. They got 13 people interested at that time. And they started their work, and we continued very proudly their work to this day.
And what is that work? What does the League of Women Voters do?
We focus, right, of Nevada County. We focus on our community. So we are very devoted to registering voters, educating voters, encouraging civic engagement, and helping people to make very important decisions with, a very non-biased, very, objective information to help them make those decisions. It's very important to focus on local issues and local candidates because this is where it all starts, right? Mm-hmm. Today's dog catcher, for to use a euphemism, is tomorrow's senator. So we really do have a stake in what happens to our country and our state.
Yes, and I have this conversation with people all the time. Everyone gets involved in votes. You see a higher voter turnout in presidential elections.
Right.
And a lower turnout, lower engagement in local elections, which is ironic because it's the local elections that actually have a direct consequence in our personal lives.
Exactly.
And how our communities are run. So I love your mission. So how do you do that? How do you engage voters and inform voters about these local issues?
Well, year in and year out, whether it's an election year or not, this is a very important year. This is the show for the League, right? A general election year, presidential election year. But year in and year out, there's always an election, either a city council or a measure and so on. So what we do is send out as much information about what's on the ballot, who's on the ballot. We hold candidate forums. So that the community can actually see their candidates face to face and ask questions from the community and by the media. We also do events throughout the year. We did not too long ago an event that was very popular called Depolarizing Political Conversations, which was held at Sierra College. And the focus was to help people to have a civil conversation with people they don't necessarily agree with.
More of that, please.
Exactly.
We could use that.
And it was standing room only. So there's great interest in learning here in this community. We just love this community because people are very receptive and really want to become engaged. What else do? We do a lot of other events throughout the year. We did Soup and Civics. We have a holiday party that is really more about connecting with the community, making relationships with people. We are really focused on the youth because although Nevada County has a very high rate of people who are eligible to voting, not so much on the youth percentage. So we really focus on getting our youth registered, educating them. They get their news from social media, of course. So it's a very different approach. And we also just restarted a scholarship for high school senior. We'll be going through that process soon. It's the first time we've done that in years. So we really, COVID kind of took us for a spin, just like most organizations. Mm-hmm. And when we came out of COVID, we decided that it was time to brush things off and spit and polish, our goals and our mission. So we actually went through a very interesting process to create a strategy. Mm-hmm. And we are now following that strategy. We did that last spring, right around the spring. And now we're executing on that strategy. And it has become, after COVID, is to become more integrated into the community and invite people to participate and help us because, you're a voter whether you vote or not, right? You're a voter if certainly when you submit your ballot, either through the mail or at a polling workplace or, at one of the vote boxes. But you're also voting if you don't vote, right? By default.
And I like to say to people, if you don't vote, you can't complain.
Exactly. You get what you get.
You get what you get.
But we have a very, very engaged community, and it's a pleasure, truly a pleasure working here.
So how is this an all volunteer organization, or do you have paid employees? How does that work?
We're small compared to other leagues. A colleague and I went to the state convention in San Francisco in the spring, and there are leagues like Los Angeles and San Diego that have sub-chapters. They're so big. Not here. We have a smaller group, but we have, I think because of that, it's a more personal group. And it's a group that's truly, connected and right, ground level with the community. And we have, we're so lucky that people are, I think because of the general election, but also because we're becoming more prominent in the community, raising our hand, becoming more proactive after COVID, kind of reestablishing ourselves, I guess you could say. We are getting many more members. We're getting many more volunteers. We need all kinds of volunteers. Even someone who has 15 minutes a week, can have a small but really mighty role to play because every effort counts. And then there are people like myself who hold larger roles for a year or two. And sometimes we rotate, sometimes it can be an intense, intense effort. But that's why we have people who rotate the job. It's not an employment, right?
Okay. So it's an all volunteer organization.
All volunteer.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Just because you feel passionate about it.
Exactly. And I don't think anybody's opposed to voting. I don't think anyone's opposed to a voice. Your vote, right, is the cliche. But cliches come from truth often. Yeah. And in this case, I think it's really critical to understand that voting is who you are in your community. It's how you stand up. And there's many ways to be an active in the community outside of voting, right? You can help your neighbors an elderly neighbor, for instance, figure out a ballot. It can be complicated, or take him or her to a polling place, take them to an event, an educational event, a candidate forum. We hold pros and cons. So there's many ways that we try to relay information to the community. And what we need people to do is talk to their friends and their kids and their family about the importance of voting and our role in our community and how important it is to be active in our country.
Yes, I completely agree with that. And my daughter, who is 19, voted her first election.
And how did she feel?
It was great. Ever since she was like a baby, I had taken her to the polling place to vote. Now we have like the all vote by mail, which is so convenient. I go and drop it off at a drop box. It's fantastic. So now what we do is my husband and I sit at the table and we fill out our ballots and we discuss it. And so we did that with her. And, we didn't tell her how to vote. We discussed each of the measures. We discussed the people. And she didn't vote with the same way that we did on everything. And we told her that that's okay. That's how democracy works.
With respect.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Absolutely.
With respect and conversation, and you don't have to think like me. Mm-hmm. I don't have to think like you. We're not enemies. We're citizens. Yes. And that is the preciousness, the beauty of a democracy. Yeah. And how privileged we are to live in a democracy, to live where we live.
We very much are. And I think it's important that we not take that for granted.
And it's funny because after going through a whole career now, this is sort of my career now. And it's interesting to take all those skills and those experiences and be able to focus it in this way, because it's a for me anyway, and I think that my co-president Jan Bedane and other board members, it's our way of giving back. It's our way of manifesting the experience that life has given us in order to give back to our community. And we have members of all ages. It's so important to have that diversity and variety of ages and perspectives. And we really, really have a wonderful board this year with people who are younger, people who are older, people who have been part of the league for a long time, and people who are pretty new.
That's wonderful. And it's so important to get those different perspectives.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like your organization is one that's very good at getting those different points of view and showcasing them in a respectful way. And nonpartisan way. So speaking of like old people, young people, everyone in between.
Not old, older.
Older, you're right. Yeah, older. Elders, wise elders. If one wanted to get involved or attend an event, what would be the best way for them to do that? What's a good first step?
First step would be to go to our website, which is lwvnevadacounty.org.
Okay.
And you will see a lot of information about the local chapter as well as national and state chapters, what our mission is, ways to register and become a member, information about who to reach out to if you'd like to understand what kind of volunteer opportunities are available. And some of them is just as simple as, we don't do envelope, mailings anymore. It's not the old come and lick some envelopes thing, but it's analogous to that. And we need people at tabling and at candidate forums and just keeping in touch and establishing relationships with various members of our community. We support our voter registrar's office. In fact, we send flowers to that office this year. It's Natalie Adonna's turn. She got flowers this year, and we try to make it personal as well. So volunteers, I think, will feel that. I hope they feel that.
We actually had Natalie Adonna on here for one of these Let's Chats, and she was just lovely.
Oh, wonderful. Good. She's got a big year.
She has a big year.
Yeah.
We talked about that. So what else should people know about the Nevada County League of Women Voters of Nevada County?
We changed our name 2 years ago, I think, from League of Women Voters of Western Nevada County to League of Women Voters of Nevada County. And the reason we did that is because Truckee is Nevada County, and it doesn't feel that way, does it? It feels like Truckee's far away, and Truckee feels like they're far away. But in reality, that area is a part of our county, and it's very important to make sure that everyone in the county feels that they are important and that they are included in whatever plans. So we are working with leaders in that community to see how we can be of service up there. Truckee is a very active, independent, politically active community, and we don't want to just kind of barge in there and say, well, we know this and we know what you need. But we're asking and getting input from community leaders about how we can be of service up there. So that's an ongoing process. So we're excited to kind of kick that off this year.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes, our primaries are March 5th, so we're very, very focused on, making sure we're getting that information out. The ballots are just being locked and loaded as we speak, and then the general election is in, November. So it's an incredibly important election year. All election years are important. All elections are important. This is a very significant, consequential election, and exciting.
Yes. It will be exciting if nothing else.
If nothing else, it will be exciting. So we will be doing a lot of media work. I'm hoping to I have connected with the radio stations here, KNCO, KVMR, to do some PSAs and some spots. We'll be working with the union on opinion pieces and hopefully on articles, and with Ubinet, fantastic Ubinet, to get them the information. Whatever we can do to disseminate the information in a variety of ways is what we will be doing. So that includes social media and press releases, of course, and broadcasts, and Nevada County media. No matter what the platform, we will be a part of that to spread the information.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing to get people to become more informed, engaged citizens and voters.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you would like the community to know?
Vote. Please vote.
Please vote.
And if you need any information, please come to lwvnevadacounty.org and see what we have. You can reach out to me personally at president@lwvnevadacounty.org. I'll hop on a call. I'll come meet you for coffee, and we can, talk about what your questions are and what your needs may be. But come and connect with us.
Well, thank you, Lynn, so much for all that you're doing in the community and for being here today and chatting with me.
Thanks for your interest. It's been fun.
It has been fun. And thank you for joining us for another episode of Let's Chat. We'll see you next time.